Yeah. What's going on, everybody? It's your favorite dating coach, Elliot Scott, and as you can see by the title below, we're going to talk about something a little different. We're going to niche down a little bit here and talk about things that are, I guess, mistakes women over 30, so 30s, 40s, 50s plus, make when it comes to dating. That doesn't mean you can't make these mistakes under 20, but I see them heck of a lot more with women in their 30s, 40s, 50s plus, okay? Now, if you haven't yet, please subscribe. Just click the red button below along with the bell notification and the like button if you enjoy the stuff I'm saying, my brutal honesty, so on and so forth. And if you want to work with yours truly or get my course, Attraction Academy, which goes into a lot more detail on the stuff we're talking about here, links are down below. Everyone asks me, where do I get my link to have a session with you? Or where do I get a link for Attraction Academy? Right here, okay, down below. So I'm going to jump into these right away. Number one is women think that men are different in their 30s, 40s, and 50s. Men in their 30s, 40s, 50s. They think they're different than men in their 20s, and that's not true. I can't tell you how many times I have a woman come to me and say, an older woman, 30s, 40s, 50s, and say, I can't believe this guy's in his 50s and he's still playing these games. Yep, he still is. And what you have to understand is why that is. Men play games for multiple reasons. It could be to fill a void. It could be insecurity. It could be a game to you, but maybe it's just he doesn't care, but he still wants the assets. So he treats it more like conveniently. This is that hot and cold stuff that you guys witness, or that it happens to you, unfortunately, and things like that. So when you assume, I guess you're assuming a guy's going to be honest. No. And again, there's reasons for that. There's no reason for him to be extremely honest with you. If he was honest to say, hey, I'm not really looking for a relationship, or hey, I'm just trying to get in your pants, then he's not going to get in your pants. And then he justifies that because you're probably thinking, wow, this guy's a jerk. Well, but he justifies that by saying, well, let's see where it goes, or let's see what happens. And yeah, I'm looking for a relationship if it's the right woman, which is true. It's not like he's lying to you straight up and saying, I'm just trying to get, or it's not like he's literally just trying to get in your pants. He is looking for a relationship, but men do know early on, I'll say within the first date or two, if you're the one that he's going to get in a relationship with. So, I mean, it is lying to some extent. Now, the second thing I would say is a lot of you compare yourselves to younger women, and I don't know why. Younger women are foolish. Younger women have not experienced what you have experienced. Younger women have not went through the trenches, okay? They don't know what it's like on this dating battlefield. And a lot of guys, you have to understand, ladies, men go towards the path of least resistance. Meaning, he might, just because you're 35 and she's 25, that doesn't necessarily mean he's going to her because she's 10 years younger than you. She's also 10 years more foolish, So, and guys go towards the path of least resistance. If a man's not wanting a relationship and you're upholding your standards like you should, and you're drawing a line in the sand and you know your worth and value, yet he's talking to you and a 25-year-old who doesn't do the same, he's going to go after the 25-year-old if he's not looking for a relationship. That, especially if it's an emotionally unavailable man or a low ego, manipulative, like narcissistic type of guy. He's going to go towards the path of least resistance. So don't compare yourself to younger women. Don't compare yourself in terms of looks, status, the youth, the energy, I used to have it back in the day. No, you're at a whole different stage, and you can offer a whole wide range of other things. You probably have more money. You have more freedom. You are more, I like to think of it, and I talk about this in my course, like your tribe, like you're more niched down. You know exactly what you want and what you can offer. And so when you find the right guy, it's going to be worth its weight in gold when you're like, hey, I'm your match. But when you're 24, 25, like you don't know that kind of stuff yet. And I know there's 24, 25-year-olds watching this. You don't. You don't know what it's like yet. You don't know what the dating world. Yeah, you've been dating probably since you're 15. Great. Add another 10 years to it. Wait till you're 35 or 45 or 55. You haven't been through the ups and downs, the divorces, the kids, dating a guy with kids, like all that. It's a whole different story. So ladies, don't compare yourself to younger women. Number 3 here is, I have it all written down here if you wonder why I'm looking down, is you feel the need to rush for some reason. Well, I know the reason. You feel the need to rush, especially women in their 30s. When you're 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, you start freaking out a little bit because you do a lot of things that I've just mentioned. Like you do start comparing yourselves to the 24, 25, 26-year-old that you think he wants. Well, he does want a 26-year-old, but you get what I'm saying. That you start comparing yourself to those type of women, or you feel like your biological clock is ticking, and you might feel the social pressure or the pressure from your family to settle down and have kids. I have a lot of clients who come to me where their parents tell them, hey, why aren't you having kids yet? Why aren't you, especially from certain like cultures. You know, I'm not going to say any cultures, but from certain cultures, women, their parents really push and emphasize, like, where's Mr. Right? Where's the kids? What's wrong with you? And that really messes with a woman's head. And I think women in the 30s personally have it the hardest because, yeah, they still have a little bit of youth and all these things that, you know, they can compete with the 20s, but it's not even about the competition. It's about what you can offer somebody, and it's really hard to do that when you get in your own head and you're thinking, maybe I should. Everyone's starting to get married around you now and have kids and have a family, and so you're thinking, what's wrong with me? There's nothing wrong with you. Slow it down. You don't need to compare yourself to other people, and you don't need to think of yourself as a ticking time bomb. You're good. So the next thing is you still don't know how to actually build attraction with men. This is why I made my course Attraction Academy. I literally have a list of different philosophies or theories: scarcity, filling a void, hierarchy of desires, the sexual marketplace, sexual market value, framing, context, assets versus liabilities. These are all things you need to know to build attraction. Ladies, sorry to tell you, chemistry and liking someone is not enough because unfortunately, it doesn't make you stick out from the crowd. A lot of men, I don't know about you ladies, but a lot of men know how to build chemistry and rapport with a woman very fast. Why? Because that's his job. He has to know how to do this. He has to know how to get that validation, those IOIs, indicators of interest. He has to know how to derive that from you to show, or to not only get turned down, but to tell him that, well, this is a lower risk, I'm doing great, and these are signs for him to move forward. So he has to know how to do it, okay? So when you're looking for a guy and you're like, I really like this guy, he's cute, and we get along really well, a lot of women think he's cute. And he gets along well with a lot of women. So you have to know, especially in your 30s and 40s and 50s, you know, you went through the trenches. And I know you're watching videos and you're reading books, that's great, but you have to take the extra step in learning this stuff. Whether that's getting my course, getting a session with me, or other dating coach. I'm not just trying to sell you. You understand what I'm saying? Like, there's philosophies and theories that go along with this kind of stuff. Attraction is not a choice. I tell ladies this all the time. Attraction is also, I have two things. Attraction is not a choice. You just can't wake up and, you know, like or dislike somebody. And the second thing is attraction is like currency. The more you have, the more you can do. It's a facilitator. You have to know how to build it. So many people instead focus on getting a relationship. That comes from enough attraction and a guy who's emotionally available. Yes. So just focus on attraction and focus on building it the right way. You have to stick out from other women, aka competition. And lastly here is you still don't know how to read men. You don't know how to read men. And when you're in your 30s and 40s and 50s, I think it's a little harder because you're probably not, well, you might be dating as much. I just feel like when you're in your 20s, you're in college and things like that, and you're not set in your ways. But so they can get a little more, they can get that experience. But when you're in your 30s, 40s, and 50s, the problem is everything I said up to this point, you know, feeling rushed, feeling that you're a ticking time bomb, feeling that the social pressures from your family and friends and everyone getting married around you, and maybe feeling like something is wrong with you. Something. mentally, you feel like you have to give these guys the benefit of the doubt. You feel like you have to give these guys extra chances. I can't tell you how many times I have clients come to me and there's a problem and I'm listening to them and I ask, like, well, what are you doing? You're literally talking to me and you're telling me all the signs. And she would say, well, yeah, I know. I just thought he was really interested, or I thought he really liked me, or I thought I'd just give him another chance because he seemed like a decent guy besides this. And I'm like, no, like, I'm not saying cut a guy off, but you have to keep track of all this. Like, you have to, I talk about it in my course. It's your detective work. You have to do your detective work because these signs always lead to the same thing. Ladies, if you're talking to a guy who is newly single and has got cheated on and he just got out of this divorce 2 months ago, 6 months ago, 9 months ago, okay, and it was a 5, 6, 7 year relationship, and he lives 45 minutes away. The odds are against you. I'm not saying it can't happen. I've seen it, but the odds are against you. And these are, and he's rushing it. Well, why do you think he's rushing it? He just got out of a divorce. He needs to feel validated. He needs the void, especially when his girlfriend just cheated on him. Like, whatever. I mean, there's a bunch of different things. He needs the validation. He needs to fill the void. You got to play detective. Men go towards the path of least resistance. Ladies, if you don't understand this, check out my course. I talk about it extensively in my course, okay? So those are the 5 things. Again, the last one, you just don't understand male philosophy or male psychology and why we do what we do. Men go towards the path of least resistance, whether it's wanting a relationship or not. If he wants a relationship, the path of least resistance is to invest in the woman, progress it, and take her off the market. If he doesn't want a relationship, but he wants the assets, it's all the stuff I basically teach in my videos in my course, okay? So with that being said, ladies, I love you all. Take care, and peace.